Good morning, everybody. Thought I would just do a quick video here. A couple of things have come in, and I want to thank Steve very much. Apparently there is some problems in the congregation in Australia. I'm just going to read this. I came across this in Reddit a couple of days ago. My understanding is that this is a congregation north of Sydney, Australia, and they have allowed a convicted pedophile to log on the congregation Zoom meetings. However, Australian law, not Watchtower law, Australia law, forbids convicted pedophiles to attend any functions where there are children, including logging on to Zoom meetings where there are children logged on. Now, I'm not sure if via the gossip grapevine that families with kids have now left the virtual congregation and logged on to another congregation, or if the elders ordered the families to Zoom into another congregation. Either way, it's allowed the pedophile to Zoom in and soak in the spiritual food in association with the adult rub-a-dub-dubs. Pity the families didn't show some strength and refused to move congregations until the elders, the pervo, my word, can log into JW Broadcast and watch Brother Let and Brother Morris. I mean, why should everyone put themselves out for a pedophile? This has raised a big concern that I haven't thought of before. During Zoom meetings, one can go into gallery view and stare at anyone for as long as you like, take photos, and do whatever without anyone being aware. If you were in a real meeting, you couldn't stare at anyone without being noticed. This is true. This is true. You can record, your monitor, take pictures, whatever. What if a brother had an unhealthy fixation with a sister? He could sit there and ogle her all during the meeting. Yep, stalkers, staring. I know an XJW pervo that would do that. What if there was a rapist in the congregation doing the same? What if there is a hidden pedophile that's been covered by Watchtower? They're perving at the children. Parents wouldn't be aware even if he's DF'd. I know of 2 congregations that have pedophiles attending. So this brings up a whole lot of disturbing questions. I know if I had a small child and doing these Zoom meetings, if I knew there was a pervo watching these meetings and maybe watching my child while I'm listening to the meetings, I'd turn my camera off. I don't want some pervo, staring at my kid. Wow. What if these perverts got so wound up by this freedom to perv that they take steps to act their fantasies out? Yeah, how do you know what someone is doing behind that camera? I believe this is a very serious situation with possible disastrous consequences. So forwarding this info to any elders and parents, as we've seen Watchtower doesn't care about any victims. Also, I'll be contacting child protection agencies as well. Good. Good. Thank you. I'm hoping you can send this warning out to as many as possible to your friends. Well, we're going to put it out in a video, and I'm going to put the original link here on Reddit that they sent. So thank you, Will Rising. And I'll just read some of this on Reddit. Pedophile splits Australian congregation. All children moved out. No Zoom meetings with kids allowed. So my congregation in Australia recently took on families from Kincumber Congregation, New South Wales, Australia. Of course, Zoom only, but they suddenly joined us, because they're merging congregations in Australia because they're getting ready to sell a bunch of Kingdom Halls. Heard that one too. So if anybody knows of any addresses of Kingdom Halls that are going up for sale in Australia, please let us know. We are keeping our eye on the one on 12 Tucker Street, I believe it is. We're keeping our eye on that one. Not much was said, but I have found out that a well-known pedophile has resurfaced and wanted to attend Kincumber congregation again. He was there in the past and notorious. It appears he's come out of jail and has strict regulations, not being allowed to be near children and not even on a Zoom meeting with children. So why are the elders allowing him to be in these Zoom meetings with children? I mean, the stupidity is just mind-boggling. I can't even comprehend why someone would think that was okay. Kincumber congregation was then split. All families moved out into neighboring congregations. Yeah, if I was these families, JW families, I would be in an uproar, and I would be calling the authorities. It is being gossiped about big time in the area, and I think needs to be known all over, especially with the news about JWs and the redress scheme in Australia making the news again. And I did a video about that last week where the Prime Minister was naming and shaming. It has made a few of us think, should all pedophiles be banned from being on Zoom meetings with kids? Yes. Yes. I can't help thinking as I sit on one now that I could be stared at by pedophiles. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Is this new Watchtower policy or just a unique case? I don't think Watchtower cares. They don't care. At least not about the children or the abuse survivors. They don't care. What is going to happen when meetings open again? Zoom meetings are okay, but I know if some of these families are already saying they are not going to drive all that way to another Kingdom Hall, or to another hall. So this is a throwaway account, but we'll post more if something becomes known. So don't even try to find out who this is, because it's a PMO. And that brings up a whole lot of questions. You know, what are they going to do when the Kingdom Halls open up again? Now, we keep hearing from PMOs and elders' wives and those who have families that are JWs and they're out. We keep hearing that JWs are loving these Zoom meetings and they don't want to go back to the Kingdom Halls. And some are even saying, and we've been saying this for months and months, we'll just sell the Kingdom Halls. You know, let's just stick with the online religion. Which brings up another thing I just want to mention real quick. Thank you, Katina. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. She let me know that 3 witnesses, one of them was about 18 years old, and they all had their face covering, and they had a backpack, but they showed up at the neighbor's house, knocked on the door, and the neighbor invited them in. Now, some were going around the neighborhood while that one was in. Okay, we know they are allowed to go visit people they know, return visits. Okay, but while she was in the return visit to the, Katina's neighbor, the others were going knocking on doors, and they came to Katina's door, Katina's door. She didn't let them in. She didn't open it. But she knew who they were. So they're not supposed to be doing this. Doesn't matter, if she went into a return visit to visit someone personally. You're not supposed to be knocking on doors in the neighborhood. Doesn't matter if you have a mask on or not. You're not supposed to be doing that. Your governing body gave you directions not to. See, they can't even follow their own governing body's rules. Okay, so I'm going to put the link down below to all of this. And I also want to thank Atlantis and Petra. Thank you very much. There is some new elders letters. Now, 2 of these I thought was interesting because it is a rental vehicle option sheets from Ryder Trucks. Now, for those of you in other countries, Ryder Truck rental is where you can go rent a truck. Any size, trailers, whatever, semis, and anybody can rent them. So Watchtower, they are renting trucks to continue the food distribution. I thought that was almost over. Because, I mean, even, Congress is saying that they're going to hold off on any more stimulus until after our election. So this is interesting because it looks like Kingdom Halls and elders are going to be renting these trucks to do food distribution, and they can even rent a refrigerated truck, because now there's going to be meat and vegetables and stuff that needs to be refrigerated, cheese, milk, and all of that in these food boxes. But they have negotiated a special price on these rider truck rentals, and they have the price list here. Now there's a couple of things down here I thought was interesting. The supplier information form came with this, and the supplier is Rider Systems Incorporated. Branches that can use the supplier is United States, all 50 states, and Puerto Rico. Field entities that can use the supplier: disaster relief committees and local congregations that are supporting food distribution efforts during COVID-19. You contact the National Reservation Center, and it has the 800 number, and email for a rider. Products: rental of trucks and trailers for COVID-19 disaster relief. See the negotiated price sheet, Rider JW food distribution rates, attached to this listing. So they negotiated, just like they do, with rental cars and hotels and stuff during conventions. Well, they've negotiated this. Even cleaning supplies and electric and, data systems and stuff, they negotiate all of these for a better price. Well, it makes me wonder if a elder, let's say elder goes to rent a truck and uses his debit or credit card to rent this truck. Does his rewards points go to the Watchtower? They do it for hotels and rental cars, so why not? Just gotta ask. Now underneath that I just read where it says prices, it says when renting, purchase both physical damage and liability coverage insurance. So they want the insurance. Note, other insurance coverage such as personal injury protection or medical payments are not included and falls under the responsibility of the individual driver. So there again, Watchtower is not going to take responsibility for anybody driving this. It gets better. Contact Riders National Reservation Center and reference account. They give the account number, Jehovah's Witness food distribution, to obtain negotiated rates. Now, I did a video about this several weeks ago, reading an article that the ones distributing this food are getting millions of dollars from the federal government here in the United States to distribute this food. So then I have to ask, if they're getting these millions of dollars to distribute this food, are they making the individual elder body or the congregation pay for the rental of these trucks? Shouldn't Watchtower be paying for this if they're the ones getting millions of dollars for distributing this? I don't know, because they don't give that kind of information. Just that article I read a couple of weeks ago. All right. This is the important part. The individual whose credit card is used to purchase the rental must be present at the local rider store to sign the agreement. Other drivers can be added for a small fee. The rental agreement should be made out to the individual renting and should not include reference to any congregation or branch corporation. Rental of tractors and refrigerated tractor trailers require a local account to be set up in an individual's name or business. Note, a security deposit credit card hold may be required at the time of rental. The amount of the deposit will vary based on the vehicle being rented and can range up to $5,000 for refrigerated trucks, trailers, reefer vans, and more. Wow. Wow. General comments. These negotiated rates should be used in connection with COVID-19 food distribution only and are not for personal use. The individual renting will be required to sign rental agreement and provide credit card for payment. So the person signing this agreement is responsible for everything. Payment and everything. Wow. I mean, when are Jehovah's Witnesses going to wake up and see they are being taken for a ride? They are being scammed. They are taken for fools. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much, everybody, for everything, and you have a great week. Bye.